What is up, though, Lions fans? It's your boy, Motor City Don P. We are back here once again, and yes, we are live from Tesla Studios. We live from Tesla Studios this time because your boy out here making money. So instead of trying to rush back to the house, I had some appointments. I had some things that I had to do, and I said, "Hey, man, let me just go live from Tesla Studios." We did have that situation a few weeks ago that I thought I might have to do that, but today is the day that I do have to do that. I'm not going to be able to see too many comments because while I am not actually driving, you know what I mean, like the car's driving, um, yeah, I can't really be reading comments. Okay, so I'm gonna try to get to any, like, if I pull over, if I stop at a red light or something like that, I'm gonna try to read some of your comments and things of that nature. Um, Most of this drive that I'm gonna be on is gonna be freeway driving, so I don't know how many comments I'm gonna be able to get to, but we're gonna get to as many as we can. Let's go. So one thing's for certain and three things for sure. When you see me first to TV, number one, the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. Number two, we came to give you stats, not none of that static. And number three, perhaps the most important number of them all, number three, want to make sure you keep your Alliance news pragmatic. And you may be asking yourself, how, Don? How, Mr. P, does one keep the Alliance news pragmatic? Well, it's very simple. It's easy. I'm going to tell you, I don't keep it from you guys. I'm in my car. I'm in my car trying to bring you Lions news. I don't let it stop me. I don't let anything stop me. So, of course, I'm going to tell you how to keep your Lions news pragmatic. You got to subscribe. So, smash that subscribe button, smash that like button, and share the stream with your peoples. And once you've done those things, and it doesn't matter in which order you've done those things, once you've done those things, you've indeed kept your Lions news pragmatic. Now, speaking of your peoples, when you share this, because sharing is caring, with your brothers, your fathers, your sisters, your cousins, your uncles, your fathers, your brothers, your sisters, your neighbors, your uncles, your fathers, your sisters, you name it, you name it. You have indeed cared about those people. What up, though, everybody in the chat? As I said, for those of you that were not here at the very tippy top, I am in the, all right, I am, just live from the whip. So I can't really be reading comments like that, right? Most of the driving that I'm doing is highway driving, so I'm not gonna be at a bunch of red lights or nothing like that, right? But when I get off the highway and I pull up and I stop at a red light, I will try to get some comments in there. If you've got a comment that you really want to be read, go ahead and super chat it. If you got a comment you really want to be read, go ahead and super chat it, because I will have to be very selective. I can't read all the comments like I do generally when I'm sitting at home at my computer. I'm on the road. All right, Maxx Crosby, let's talk about it. And this seems to be a topic of every offseason for the last at least 2 years. Okay, but this one might be real. This one might not be a pump fake. If you guys followed the Maxx Crosby saga, and I know a lot of you did, I know there's a lot of people out there in Lions land that were gobbling up every tweet that he put out. He was thinking everything was cryptic, and then when he would say, "I'm a Raider for life," you guys were sitting out there looking silly. But here's the thing. Maxx Crosby's done with the Raiders, and the Raiders seem to be done with Maxx Crosby. This is a situation where there are many people coming out talking about it. I do have an article. I do have an article from Detroit Lions on SI. I will try to read that article for you. And it goes a little something like this. Okay, don't worry, I have full self-driving So if the car doesn't yell at me too much, I will try to get through this article. This article is from Detroit Lions on SI, and you know Detroit Lions on SI. That's your boy Doc Macaroon, friend of the show. So um, the article is entitled "Sources." See, it's already telling me pay attention, turn the steering wheel, all this other stuff. All right. Sources. If traded, Detroit Lions are first choice of Maxx Crosby. Okay. So we're updating this. If you trade Maxx Crosby, he wants to come to Detroit. Now, a lot of people might be like, well, this isn't the NBA, Doc. He doesn't have control over where he goes. That's true. But we got to look at Maxx Crosby's track record. Maxx Crosby did not ask out of Las Vegas. Maxx Crosby has been the face of the franchise. Maxx Crosby has been a very good representation of, the Las Vegas Raiders. I believe he had a substance abuse issue and he got clean and sober and all these things. And that's been, a part of his journey being on the Raiders, like I said, representing them in the best way possible, overcoming demons, all of these things, right? Cool. That's a guy that once you start treating him like he's less than, you should at least respect what he's done for your franchise and send him where he wants to go, right? You send him where he wants to go. We'll talk about what it might take for the Detroit Lions to grab him. I don't actually know, but we'll see. All right. So, I'm, looking down, looking up. All right. Make sure there are no cops around me. All right. The Las Vegas Raiders and star defensive end Maxx Crosby could be parting ways this offseason. Okay. So if you remember last year or last season, the one that just ended, okay, which hasn't officially ended yet because Super Bowl is on Sunday. Also, if you guys are interested in watching the Super Bowl, I definitely will be having the Super Bowl watch party. I know a lot of people are, I'm not going to watch the Super Bowl. A lot of, creators are saying they're not going to watch it. It's only right, bro. It's just, you gotta stream the Super Bowl, right? I did that last year, and remember that's when we banned what was that dude's name? Broski Bear, because he was a racist. So we banned him last Super Bowl, and it's coming up again. So hopefully nobody will get banned this year, and hopefully we'll get more people. But this season that just ended for 30 other NFL teams. It's not over for these two in the Super Bowl, but the 30 other NFL teams, it ended. Maxx Crosby was held out for the last 2 or 3 weeks, injured, or he had a knee injury, so and so and such and such. Well, Maxx Crosby did not, he didn't appreciate that. And he was like, yeah, I'm not injured. Let me post videos to IG, social media, dunking on a basketball. So if I've got a sprained MCL or whatever they were calling the injury, I don't think I'm dunking basketballs. Hardwood floor, a lot of explosion, vertical, all that stuff. So I don't think I'm going to be doing that if I'm actually injured. And that's what he was saying. I'm not injured. Don't believe the hype. These people are lying to you. Now, if we talk about a hurdle for getting to the Detroit Lions, that might be one. Okay? And obviously, I'm talking about the Raiders side, because the Lions will put out all types of hurdles. True or not true, they'll put them out there. Okay? We've got them or we don't got them. They're going to put them out there. Okay? So that's the thing. So if there's a hurdle coming from the Raiders If the Raiders want to play hardball, like we're not going to send you where you want to go, blah 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 blah. I think that would be one of the reasons right there. That might even be the biggest reason. You tried to show us up. We said you were injured. You called us liars publicly. Blah 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 blah. Go screw yourself. We're not going to trade you where you want to go. We'll trade you to. I mean, they do have the number one overall pick, so I don't know how can you trade him to the worst team in the league when he's already there. And another place, you could trade him to Cleveland, but Maxx All right, we back. I just want to let y'all know that Australia is like 70th in internet. It's terrible. Okay, so the internet goes out in random spots. It don't make no sense. All right, so turn this down a little bit. All right, so the Fox NFL insider revealed I do. So when they asked him, I don't know how far we got there, but when they asked him if he feels like Maxx Crosby's time in Las Vegas is done, he said, I do. So the day Crosby was shut down happened. No less than 20 teams called me and asked, is this real? Can we get him? Right? The day that they shut this man down, 20 teams called up and said, bruh, what's going on? Is Maxx Crosby truly available? Are the Raiders this stupid? Right now, can we call it a stupid move if you get look what Micah Parsons went for. If you can get anywhere near that deal for Maxx Crosby, you take it. Now, who do you take it from? And this is where the situation gets a little bit dicey. Because obviously, if I'm the Raiders, I'm looking at a team like Arizona. I'm looking at a team like Tennessee. There's definitely Tennessee. I'm looking at a team like the New York Jets. Right? I'm looking at anybody who's in the top 5 of the NFL draft. That's who I'm looking at if I'm the Raiders. But again, if you're honoring Maxx Crosby's wishes, he's going to the Detroit Lions. And then you are kind of shooting yourself in the foot because you are getting compensation. Let's say you get those 2 first-round picks. I don't think those 2 first-round picks by themselves are really worth anything because you got to believe that it's going to be in the 30s. Aiden Hutchinson and Maxx Crosby on the same defensive line is going to get a lot of wins for the Detroit Lions. I'm just going to tell you that much. So you're probably looking at something in the very high 20s to the 30s. And if you're looking at something like that, you're probably going to say, all right, let's package these 2 first-round picks and move up to get somebody else. Or this also gives you the ability to do the whatchamacallit move, the Houston Texans move, where you go, all right, boom, we're going to go ahead and get Mendoza first. Then we're going to jump up to the 2nd pick or the 3rd pick or whatever, and we'll grab, whoever you want to grab there. Okay. All right. Raiders general manager John Spytek was recently asked about Crosby's future with the Raiders. He says, I have a lot of respect for Maxx Crosby and how much he loves to play the game. And I've had the opportunity in the last several weeks to spend a lot of time with Maxx. And I think it's been well documented that he didn't love the idea of not playing football. And I think you always want that from your best players, Spytek said. In fact, I think that's why they're your best players. So I love Maxx. He embodies what a Raider is. I've been pretty upfront with that from the day that I sat up here almost a year ago, and I continue to believe that. Detroit is naturally appealing to the star defender as the team has had 4 consecutive winning seasons. Also, he has ties to Eastern Michigan, and players on the Lions roster have raved about that. I'm sorry I didn't read any comments, but I haven't gotten through the article yet. I'll be in another one soon. Word of how Campbell excels at relating to players has reached all across the league, with very few players speaking ill of the Lions organization. Last year, Crosby was expressed just how important winning is to him. Okay. Again, gotta check my surroundings every now and then to make sure ain't no cops. All right. Of course, I would love to be here, but I want to win. I want to win, period. I'm a winner, said Crosby. That's in my blood. So every day I wake up, I'm trying to win. And for me, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. You know what I mean? If I'm supposed to be here, I'm supposed to be here. If they don't think that I'm not, if they don't think that, I'm not going to sit here and try to sell myself short. Okay? So that is what Maxx Crosby had to say. Let me try to get to some comments here. Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to get to these. Let me see. How many do I even have? All right. I don't know how I'm gonna get to these comments. I'm sure there's more than two right now. Um, but now let's talk about the lion side of this. We don't have enough money. Here's an example of what you can do. Do you remember when the Detroit Lions traded Matthew Stafford to the Los Angeles Rams? The Los Angeles Rams were going all in. They had a bunch of people. They had a lot of salary to pay out to all of these stars that they had. The Von Millers of the world, the Matthew Staffords, the Aaron Donalds, the Jalen Ramseys, and so on and so forth. All right, Odell wasn't. I don't think he was getting paid like Odell at that point. He might have been. I don't remember. What did they do with Matthew Stafford? They restructured his contract. How do restructures work? Again, I told y'all this. For those of you that did not know this before, and those of you that knew this before, have heard this. They restructured Matthew Stafford's contract, and they converted basically 99.99999% of his salary cap. It might have been 100% of his salary cap hit, right? Or his not salary cap hit, his base salary that year to a signing bonus. His base salary that year was going to create a cap hit of $60 million, much like what Jared Goff's cap hit is going to do for us. But it's closer to 70 million, 69 million. So what happened? Well, his cap hit was $1 million that year where they won the Super Bowl. Why was it $1 million? Because of the restructure. How do you restructure? Well, you push all of the base salary to a signing bonus. So that means you give them all the money right there. Okay, and then you put void years on the contract, or contracts generally already have void years. So you put money on those void years, and you just kick the can down the road. Okay, that's what they're going to do for Maxx Crosby. If you're telling me that the Detroit Lions don't have enough money for Maxx Crosby, you're fooling yourself. Okay, that's number one. Number two, if you had to give up 2 first-round picks for Maxx Crosby, and you were thinking to yourself that Maxx Crosby will help you get to the Super Bowl, why the hell not? See, this is the same thing that the Green Bay Packers did. They felt that Micah Parsons would help them get to the Super Bowl, so why the hell not? They drafted Micah Parsons last year. Guess what? This year we would draft Maxx Crosby. If you're giving up 2 first-round picks, it does not hurt, because the 17th overall pick is Maxx Crosby. If you're going to draft an Arvell Reese from Ohio State, if you're going to draft somebody else who has got a big name, they're a highly touted prospect, from college who you've never seen play in the NFL, and you want them to turn into Maxx Crosby, well, you're drafting Maxx Crosby at 17. And then next year's first round pick really was a second round pick anyway, because you're all the way down at the bottom. Hopefully you're 32, okay? But you're all the way down at the bottom. We saw what happened last year when we were all the way down at the bottom, not directly at the bottom, but we were 28. Last year, we got Tyleik Williams. There are a lot of people that love the Tyleik Williams pick. I'm not a person that loved the Tyleik Williams pick. I didn't think the Tyleik Williams pick was necessary. I know Ali McNeil was going to be coming back from injury. I know. I didn't think the Tyleik Williams pick was necessary. So when you got a situation like that, when you make a pick that's not necessary, and you're like, oh, he was the last guy on our board,
Good afternoon.
I really don't see what the need for that pick was. So I'm trying to say, you may have a very low draft pick. So your first round pick this year, 17, is Maxx Crosby. And you're giving away a draft pick next year. You don't have a first round pick next year. You have a first round pick this year. It's Maxx Crosby. Next year, you don't have one. I don't see the loss in this situation. Let me see if I can get, I don't know what I just pressed. All right. As soon as Crosby gets signed, I'm buying the jersey. I can show that on the stage. And then I can take it off the stage. All right. So I saw that. So yeah, I can't really talk too much to y'all. I'm back on the expressway. So I'm gonna tell you about Melbourne. I'm gonna tell you why I was on the expressway, I was off the expressway, and I was back on the expressway. Melbourne is not connected in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Okay? The infrastructure is terrible. It's terrible, right? I'm going from the airport to a place, and then I'm getting to that place, I'm going back to the airport. So, but from going to the airport, y'all are used to all these different freeways and interstates and everything. You can go from South Detroit to North Detroit, East Detroit, West Detroit. You can do all that. Not in Melbourne, no. So I had to go through down. So I have to go on the expressway. Then I got to get off. Then I got to go through downtown. Then after I go through downtown, then I get back on the expressway, and then I got to go the rest of my distance, and then I'll get off at the exit, and then I'll be at my destination. So that's why this happened the way that it happened. I wish we had some audio stuff. All right. So let me get your comments. I'm going to keep trying. All right. Crosby and Hutch would be what does that say? Okay. It would be a killer marketing strategy. Crosby and Hutch would be a killer marketing strategy. What free agents would not want to come here? Listen, You are 100% correct, Mr. Morale 313. What up, though? Um, you are correct, 100%. Okay, just think about it. You get Crosby, number 17 overall. Um, you get somebody's gonna fall. There's gonna be a tackle that's gonna fall. There's gonna be a guard that's gonna fall. It's always gonna be somebody that falls that you didn't think that was gonna fall, who's gonna be available in the second round. Okay, if you are signing somebody to replace Anzalone, or if you're bringing Anzalone back, that entire defensive backfield, you pretty much are going to be able to get whoever you want. We talked the other day about Kyle Duggar. All right, is Kyle Duggar coming here? I get to play behind Hutch and Crosby? Yeah, I'll come and sign with the Detroit Lions. I might even take maybe $1 million less than market value. Maybe. Because Hutch and Crosby coming to kill your quarterback, there's going to be a lot of lollipops. Especially when we play the Packers. Oh, Jordan Love going to be just throwing them fadeaways up. Oh, he's going to be backing up and doing all this fadeaway stuff. Caleb Williams going to be doing the same thing. He's going to be running around trying to get, and he's going to be chucking balls up in the air. And guess who's going to be the beneficiary? Kyle Duggar. We talked about Kirby's knees yesterday, or his knee. We talked about Brian Branch and his Achilles situation. That's another reason that Kyle Duggar is going to come play, because he's like, well, I'm going to play. I'm not going to have to. I'm not going to have to compete in free agency. I mean, not free agency, in training camp, nothing, because I'm going to play. Who's going to beat me out? Thomas Harper? Daniel Thomas? It's not going to happen. All right. Kirby done? Well, it appears that way. We hope not. The doctor said if you get some time from him, out of him, then it's a win. If you get some time out of him, year one, year two, the next, we're talking about the next 1 or 2 years of his contract, then it's a win. All right, so y'all can get y'all comments in. I can at least just grab them off the front screen. The car is not saying too much to me because it thinks I'm just looking forward. So, yeah, get comments in, and I'll try to just read them right quick and reply to them. But again, I think it's very doable. I don't think that it is a situation where the Detroit Lions cannot do anything, where they're hamstrung by their cap situation, or whatever the case may be. There are plenty of contracts on the Detroit Lions books that can be restructured. Okay, JMO can't be restructured. I'm gonna tell you why. Hutch can't be restructured. I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, you still have to sign Jahmyr Gibbs to an extension. That doesn't matter. I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, the only contract that would matter in this situation is going to be Sam Laporta. Hutch is going to matter. And who else did I say couldn't be restructured? JMO is going to matter. All right. No, actually, they're not going to matter. I'm going to tell you why. Okay. I said JMO and Hutch can't be restructured. They can't be restructured because their new money hasn't kicked in yet. Okay. That was this last season was year 4 for both of them. Remember, they came in the same year, and it was the second draft for Brad Holmes. Remember, the first draft they got Penei Sewell. The second draft they got Aiden Hutchinson and Jabo. That means that next season they're going to be on their fifth-year options. Their new money doesn't kick in until 2027. Follow me. Their new money doesn't kick in until 2027. Now, while their fifth-year options are still hefty, they are still below value, below market value. So it's not like Aiden Hutchinson's 42 or 43 million, whatever he's getting, is kicking in this next season, right? It's not like JMO's 20-something million is kicking in this next season. It's not what's happening, okay? Sam Laporta, actually, hold on. Sam Laporta's been on the team 3 years. So again, if you give him an extension, yeah, because he's got a fourth year. So if you give him an extension this year, that doesn't actually matter. You give Jahmyr Gibbs an extension this year, it's going to be the same as Hutch. It's going to be the same as Kirby. His new money will not kick in for 2 years. Why? Because he's been on the team for 3 years. He's going into year number 4. They are going to pick up his fifth-year option, undoubtedly. There's not a chance in hell that they don't pick up Gibbs' fifth-year option. So they're going to pick that up. So he's going into year 4 of his rookie deal. He's going to play year 4 out. He's going to go into fifth-year option territory. And then after the fifth-year option, his new money will kick in. So his new money would not kick in until 2028. Brother, we're good. The way that these contracts are layered, we are so good. We have cap flexibility. If you don't go get Maxx Crosby because you've got to give up 2 first-round picks, you're crazy. You're giving up 1 first-round pick. Look at how I judged the Tesla situation. It is 3 third-round picks, not just 2. Why? Because you did not need to draft a receiver in the 3rd round. That's why it's 3 third-round picks. You wasted a pick drafting a receiver in the 3rd round when you should have been drafting another position. Maxx Crosby, 2 first-round picks is only 1 because you're drafting Maxx Crosby this year. Next year, you will not have access to your first-round pick. Cool. But this year, your first-round pick is Maxx Crosby. It is him. So I don't see what the problem is. What the problem is, as Martin said. We look solid. Yeah, our cap situation, as dire as a lot of people will listen. If you've got friends who are Lions fans and they're freaking out about the cap, tell them to come to Motor City Cats, and I'll get you right. If you got family members who are Lions fans and they're freaking out about the cap, tell them to come to Motor City Cats, and I'll get you right. If you've got coworkers who are Lions fans and they're freaking out about the cap, tell them to come to Motor City Cats, and I will get you right. Because just because it says we don't have money, don't mean we don't have money. Shout out to the Woodward Heavyweights. Earlier today, they were talking about the NIL. And they were like, I think Spinney asked the question. He was like, could we get like an NIL type of deal where somebody can come in and give Sheila some of this money so we can deal with the escrow stuff? Again, what does that go back to? And then I think Easy said something about, that would be like, basically you can do that in the NFL. It's like sharing, selling stake in the team. What have I been asking for? I've been asking for Sheila to sell stake in the team. Do what Jeffrey Lurie did. Do what Mark Cuban did. Sell stake in the team if you need an injection of money. You've got another billionaire who buys some shares. It's not a controlling interest. We're not telling Sheila to sell 51% of the team. We're not even asking Sheila to sell 50% of the team. Sell a percentage of the team that is going to allow your investor to get a return on investment, right? If you sell 1% of the team for some billionaire, he buys 1% of the team, and then it's like, I'm a billionaire, I don't want 1%. So you might have to sell 20 or 30% shares, but they're going to get a return of investment, and it's not going to be a one-time investment. Hey, man, we need money to go ahead and say, Maxx Crosby, I need to put your contract in escrow for all your guaranteed money. And you've got $80 million of guaranteed money. And I don't want to pull that out of my pocket. Well, guess what? Now I've got this guy who's got not a controlling interest, but he's got some interest in the team. He puts in that 80 million and we're good to go. We're good to go on Maxx Crosby. Bro, I'm telling y'all, it can happen. We're set up. I'm driving through the neighborhood, so my phone is shaking. These roads ain't great. I'm gonna try to read this. Going through a roundabout. The full self driving doesn't always like roundabouts. So, you know. All right. Let me see if I can get this. What does this say? Been a fan since 1987, 45 years old now. This is the best I've seen since 90s and 2010 to 2013. We have been, this is good, right? But we need a couple pieces to push us over the top. And I really believe that Maxx Crosby is a piece that pushes us over the top. How good do you think Aleem McNeil would be again, right? After coming off an injury, and he's somewhere between Maxx Crosby and Aiden Hutchinson. How good do you think Tyleik Williams would be if he's somewhere between his second season, he's coming in somewhere between Aiden Hutchinson and Maxx Crosby? Like, it's a no-brainer. And again, if you're asking me for 2 first-round picks, F them picks, Brad. Remember when Brad said Bradley, Matthias, Jerome, Ignatius Holmes? Remember he said he's not averse to making a F them picks move, right? Now, all I want, listen, it's a layup. Finger roll. Brad Holmes called and expressed a bunch of interest on Myles Garrett. Brad Holmes called and expressed a bunch of interest on Daniil Hunter. Brad Holmes called and Brad Holmes expressed and Brad Holmes tried. This ain't that. If they agree to trade Maxx Crosby, and Maxx Crosby has already said, I want to be a Detroit Lion if I'm not going to be a Raider. He said that out of his own mouth. And if the Raiders are like, all right, we're done with this, we tried, whatever, let's trade him. The Detroit Lions need to pick up the phone and be like, look, what do you want? We'll give you 2 firsts and a 5th. Whatever. You know, that if you get 2 firsts, it's not going to be 2 firsts and a 2nd. That's crazy, right? But even if you did, Who cares? You know what I'm saying? So if you say give me 2 firsts and something else, I don't see a world in which you don't do this. We be top 5, top 10, top 5 defense for sure, for sure. And all that BS that we're doing, I don't know. Am I still? Alive? Okay, yeah. All right. All that BS that we're doing with the, um, big ends and Tyus Lacey out there and Aleem McNeil, all that stuff is gonna go away. All that stuff is gonna go away. Um, so I'm at my destination. So I will have to abruptly end the stream whenever. Yeah, I'm gonna have to end the stream. So look, if I didn't get to your comments, please go put comments at the on when this becomes available as a video. Go put comments, and I will try to get to them later and answer comments in the reply section. Appreciate you guys for hanging out with me and dealing with the Tesla Studios. I don't know. Let me know if you like the stream. Again, it's not as interactive because I can't be reading while I'm driving, but you know what it is. All right. Once again, the Motor City Cats R&D back at it. We came to give you stats, not none of that static. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your lines news pragmatic, and we're out. Peace.